All right, guys, how we doing? Writing with Emotion. I'm going to take you guys through the latest tune that I've released here. It's called Love Me That Way. In this tune, I wanted a real soft, nice ballad with some emotion in it. So I wanted something that's really kind of soft to the ear, real pleasing. So I chose some different sounds on this track than I would normally use. So just to give you an idea, so we've got the guitar sound. And I kind of I try to make it sound like I'm strumming the guitar. First it's just hitting the chord straight out. So we got the guitar, got the bass here. That's actually the bass line there. Got some keyboard and strings together. And I wanted to go back to some old 70 horn sounds. So this is what I come up with, this one here. So it's got some horns and some sax in there together. All right, so let's start to put this thing together a little bit. So usually when I'm talking about I usually bring you guys in on the drum track. So I got a nice slow kind of ballad track. It's called Slow Jams, but I took liberties as always, and I go in there and I edit these tracks just to make it fit to what I'm feeling at the time. So this is kind of the drum track that I come up with. And if you guys know me, I love the rim shots. Nice laid back drum track. So we take that and then we lay on top of it just the guitar. So we have just the guitar and the drum track. So like I said, I'm trying to build this kind of laid back. It's a semi-jazz feel with some R&B in it, if that makes any sense to you. So as you guys know, I don't classify myself in being any certain genre. So I just play what I hear. So this is kind of like how it sounds with the drum track and just the guitar. All right, so that's the intro, and believe it or not, I almost just left it just like that, just playing with just the guitar and that drum track, because to me that was really nice. So, but I took it. I always, I want to put a bass line in there, but I can't put a funk bass line in there. It's got to be something kind of flowing. So with the chord changes, of course, the first chord is a C, then goes to G, F, then it's F minor, but in the bass, I'll change that F to a B flat. So it's a F minor 7 over B flat. So I'll let that play for you here so you can kind of hear. Well, I'm just going to let the bass line play for you so you can hear what I'm doing with the bass without the guitar. right here, we're going to take it to the B flat versus the F. Now, everything else stays the tonic, the G, the F, and then we got B flat right here. So I'm going to let those two play together, and you can see how they fit together, because just because you have a chord don't mean that the bass note needs to be the tonic. You know, like if you had a C chord here, you don't have to have the C in the bass, which is rare. And that's just the basic triad. But I always like those ninths, sevenths and ninths. That's my deal. All right, so with the bass line and the guitar and the drums here. Guitar, bass, and the drums. All right. So that's the intro. Now, remember I said I picked those horns out, so let's do something with those. Let's add those in. And this is basically, you know, whenever I'm building the intro, I'm trying to build it up. And then, you know, once I get to that first verse, I basically just peel everything back, especially if I'm trying to draw you in, so you just get the vocals. So you get the vocals are kind of highlighted at that point. So remember we got that. So we're going to put those in there. All right, so this should be the intro with all the sounds coming up on the first verse. So now we're coming up on the first verse. So remember I said we kind of stripped things back a little bit. So I'm gonna let it play on through the first verse. So here's the first verse here. Second verse here. Just change the bass up just a little bit. All right, so you got the first and second verse. Now, I forgot to tell you that in that second verse, I did add some strings, but I had them muted, so, and that wasn't intentional, that was a mistake. So I'm gonna let the first and second verse play, and you can hear where the strings come in on the second verse. First verse. Second verse coming up here. Alright, so now we're coming up on that third verse. We'll add more. Building as we're building it up. We've got to build it up for the bridge, so it can support the bridge, because the bridge is going to be really full. All right, so we got the first, second, and third verse, and this is typically a 4. I usually use 4 chords, 4 verses. I usually do 2 or 4, but this time I just decided to use 3 because, like I said, it has a different feel to it. So I have 3 verses, then we go into the chorus. So I'm just going to let the chorus play with all the instruments in it, and then we can break it down. All right, now let me back this up. Let me back up just a hair. Okay, so let's talk about the bridge for a second. Let me trim it back just a little bit. Give me 1 second here. We're gonna take out the bass, the piano, the strings, the horns. All right, so going into the bridge, we're gonna let the guitar play, which plays all the way through the whole tune, and the drum track, so you can kind of feel, because even the drum track changes during the bridge. So here we go. Back to the top. So what I did on the bridge, I got to find it. Let me see here. All right, so in that bridge, of course, you had the chords in the. So I'm having some problems with my foot pedal here. So at the start, we have the C, G minor 7, the F minor over D. Then the bridge, it goes to E. So the first 2 chords are the same, but the bass note changes. So you got the E with the E in the bass, then it goes the same chord, but then you change the E to an A. So it's then we go to a D9. Then we put a G in the bass. Repeat that. G in the bass. Then it goes back to the root or the very first chord, which is the C9. So again. Back to the top. Now, with it being the bridge, I really want the bridge full because we have built this tune all the way up until this point. So I'm gonna put all the instruments in there, including the horns, so you can see what the bridge is like, and then we'll just start from the beginning and we'll come all the way up through the bridge. Bridge. So we go back to the top and then we just kind of work it out, you know, about 3 or 4 courses to the end. So I'm gonna let the whole song up into the bridge play with all the instruments and you can hear how it builds, and then we can talk about the lyrics. All right, here we go, guys. I like the way the intro turned out. First verse. Second verse here. So we added those strings. All right, third. How it's building. So now we got the strings, and now we have the piano and some additional strings. And you hear the bass is doing more work down there with some of the runs and stuff. Building up to this point right here, and here you got the bridge. Back to the very first verse. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about the about the lyrics. So when I wrote this song, and it's funny the way I came up with the lyrics because just gonna give you an idea. I was just humming stuff here, and it was kind of weird, and I was like, what am I doing, you know? And I had no idea where I was gonna go with the lyrics. But you know, when I'm writing, you know, usually I'll just start singing. But this particular tune I didn't. I was just kind of like humming, and you know, so this is kind of like where it started. So I was kind of like, I gotta have something like this. Da 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 da, da 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 da, da 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 da, da 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 da. But it sounds like it repeats. Da 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 da, da 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 da, da 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 da. So on those lyrics, it took me a little while. So you know, this is one tune that I didn't just pick up and start singing. So I wanted to tell a story, you know, about this couple who are in a relationship, but usually, you know, when it starts going good, you know, he feels like she just kind of walks away from it, and he thinks that, you know, maybe she is seeing someone else, you know. So the lyrics, you know, I'm gonna talk you through the lyrics. I'm not gonna sing them for you, but I'll just tell you, you know, I'll just read them off to you. So when you get to that first verse, you know, it says, "It always seems that there'll never be a second chance for you and me, because when we start to fall apart, you turn away and you run." You know, so to me, those are some pretty heavy lyrics, you know, so I'll go on a little deeper. So it says, "So take your time and hit rewind. Let's take it back to the time we sat and talked about how it would be if you really loved me." All right, then, so now we're here. What will it be? Will you choose him over me? What can I do? What can I say that would make you love me that way? So that is the lyrics. Then it goes into the bridge, and it basically said, you know, "If I were the one for you, would you tell me?" You know, and I put some background in there. "Tell me how you feel. And if we could start again, would you let me in your heart?" So that's kind of where we are. So I will let that play up into the bridge. Then after that, we're going to have to go over to emotions page and catch the entire tune. So here you go with everything in it, including the vocals up into the bridge. Always seems there'll never be a second chance for you and me, 'cause when we start to fall apart, you turn away and you run. So take your time, hit rewind. Let's take it back to that time we sat and talked about how it would be if you really loved me. So now we're here. What will it be? Choose him over me. What can I do? What can I say that would make you love me that way? If I were the one for you, girl, would you tell me how you feel? And if we could start again, girl, would you let me in your heart? All right, guys, that's it. So if you don't mind, if you enjoyed this little tutorial, if that's what you want to call it, please go on over to Emotions page and check out the finished product. Thank you, guys. I hope you guys have a great weekend.